This is the Parker's Couch with Cameron, Carlin, and Carl, the Parker brothers. I just wish somebody would just be honest one time and just come out and say, you know what? We have not been there for y'all.
We have failed you.
We have failed you. Like, just admit it. Just say that. We have not done what we needed to do.
And
we are here.
It's the perfect position to do that.
Perfect. The perfect. Here we go again, brothers, here on the Parker's Couch. How y'all feeling out there?
Feeling
marvelous.
Feeling great. It's an awesome day, night. The most handsome, the most debonair, just sitting out, relaxing.
I know. Look at, he's all smooth right now, Whitney Carlin. Look at him lean back.
Lean back. Lean back.
Now, there ain't no cowboy hat on your head, is it?
No.
Nah, you know better than that.
No.
Woo!
Okay. Yankees all day.
Okay, that's a Yankee hat. I couldn't make it out. What's going on?
This is a work hat.
But, that's a work hat.
Yeah.
How about the Mets? The Mets is doing it.
We'll see.
The Metropolitans.
We'll see what happens, you know.
Why you even bring up the Mets? That ain't even, not for a Yankees fan. You don't bring the Mets into that.
Whatever.
We'll see what goes down with that. But I know for sure there ain't no Cowboys on your head anymore. And we'll let you roast them boys a little bit later in the show. Y'all know every time we gotta let Carl Parker have his space to roast us boys or former boys.
I think he can have the whole segment at this time.
Let me at him.
Let you at them. All right, y'all. But off the top, we want to get into some politics and really talk about Black men voters who have now taken center stage in this race going on. Right now, Kamala Harris is really in a media blitz. She's out there doing everything. Just did a taping with Charlamagne the God. She's out there. She's going to be on Joe Rogan's podcast, which they said Joe Rogan's podcast, the number one podcast in the world, has more Black men that listen to it than all the listeners of Charlamagne's podcast, The Breakfast Club. Like Joe Rogan is that big. You know, it's a huge one. And so she's doing these things that people said she would never do. She's going to be on Fox News with Brett Bard tomorrow night.
She did Roland Martin today, too.
She's out there doing all the things right now. And there's a reason for that. Because right now, the polls are showing that it's pretty much a dead even heat. But the gender gap is huge. Trump is leading about a 16 percentage point lead with men. And Kamala has a 14 percentage point lead with women. It's that much of a contrast with this election. So they're on their strategy game right now doing that and getting out there. And she pulled in Obama to kind of be a surrogate and help her out in this. And that caused a lot of heat last week, brothers. And we want to get into that. It actually had Black men trending on X. I've opened up my X. I'm like, why is Black men, literally Black men trending right now on the Twitter? What is going on? And so you got, this is making everybody feel all kind of ways. So I kind of want to get into it with y'all. We're going to do something a little bit different and play some sound bites. Because I think it's better to kind of hear it and for people to make their own judgments of how it sounds to you, what Obama had to say. We're talking to Black voters specifically and talking to Black men specifically out in Pittsburgh. So y'all ready, brothers?
Let's go with it, babe.
All right. Let me tee it up.
My understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities, as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences, who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land and is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time. They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable.
All right. And the last thing, brothers, to tee this up, where this is all coming from, it is so in the last election, it is estimated that 90% of black men voted for Joe Biden. Right now, Kamala is polling at about 78% of black men intending to vote for her. So that is a big drop, one that the Democratic Party is not used to, with enthusiasm or whatever projected for black men in terms of voting for the Democratic nominee. Thoughts, brothers? Was Obama, did he come off here scolding, lecturing, off base, out of touch? Or was he right on point with what he was saying? What are y'all thoughts around this?
Well, in in my opinion, this backfired for. Um, I think it backfired for Kamala and the Harris campaign, um, because it incited and infuriated um, some, not only some black men but some black women too. Um,
That is facts.
and um, you know, from my point of view, you can um, coax a a certain group of people to vote for you, but you cannot um, demand or you know give a commentary um, as if you're going to scold African American men for not supporting um, Kamala Harris. African American men have the right to vote however they want to vote. If they want to support Donald Trump, they can support Donald Trump. If they want to support Kamala Harris, they definitely can support Kamala Harris. Um, now, he he has to understand that some black men have looked at Kamala's record when she was in California and what she uh, the rate at which she incarcerated African American men. So that, of course, leaves a sour taste in some men's mouths. Um, and quite honestly, you know, some black men are wanting to see, you know, what really uh, the is the Democratic Party going to do for African American men. Uh, we've heard the song and dance for many, many years, and we haven't seen any action for many, many years. So, um, if black men decide that they want to go vote somewhere else, vote for another party, hey, that is their prerogative. But they shouldn't be scolded for not supporting Kamala Harris and saying that it's because she is uh, a woman. Can
I actually agree with a lot that you had to say there. First of all, I just want to commend black men for standing up and showing their voting power. To me, I hate this argument altogether. It makes no sense. If she loses the election, it won't be because of black men, and it won't be because of black women. Black women has the most voting power in the Democratic Party. Second is black men. So we're the we're both carrying the Democratic Party. For me, I wish this was a perfect opportunity for us to actually come together because we have so much power now, more power than we've ever had in the party. Like I just said, black men and black women carry the voting power. If Kamala's to win the presidency, that's a black woman or black adjacent, however you want to view her, as the president of the United States. More than likely, the Speaker of the House will be a majority speaker, is a black man. The head of the Democratic Party is a black man. That's a lot of power and a lot of power positions. So that's an opportunity for us to everybody that said that the Democratic Party is not doing this and not doing that. This is an opportunity for us to really put the hammer home. You want us to stay in this party? You have all this power now. You need to get some stuff done. Because when President Obama was the president, unfortunately, we had a financial crisis. He had the House and the Senate, but there are more pressing issues. That's not the case this time. This is a grand opportunity for us to come together as one voting bloc in this party. We're forget the Republican Party. We have no power there right now. All the power we have relies in the Democratic Party, whether you're a Democrat or not, whether you're independent, no matter what. Let's channel that energy, come together, and the things that we're demanding now, demand that when she's in office. Because right now, for me, it's a binary choice. This demented person is talking about putting cops on people, putting the military on people. Just insane. The guy's dancing for 30 minutes on stage. He's
39.
demented. I'm like, I get the fact that everybody wants to hear get their voice heard. Let's get her heard when she's in office. That's my only argument with this whole thing. This whole conversation about black men this, black men that is just a way for them to divide us again and to chop up the power that we have in this party.
Wait, but this time the them is we're talking about our own people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, uh, but normally it's not our own that does that. Normally it's another sector. But um,
It started with the other sector. They took the bait. That's the problem I have with it.
and and sometimes that is the case, Carlin. You're right. A lot of times, what they do is they put somebody up there as the scapegoat, um, to go out there and um, lay down the law for the black folks, which they chose President Obama this time to go out there and do that. Um, and I thought I thought he would have been a little bit more intelligent than to take that bait,
Thank you. I did not like that.
and go that route. I just um, to me it was off putting, and it was not a good look on his behalf.
If I could say something to offer like a perspective, because there are parts like I agree, I do think for me it was a misstep. I feel like this is kind of a blind spot for Obama, and it's kind of like I feel like Obama, like he's a stubborn guy. You can kind of
Very.
tell that about
Yeah,
Yeah.
him, and it's
Very.
like certain kind of blind spots. However, there is a part of me like though when I listen to this message, and I guess it's who is receiving it, whether or not you hear it as scolding or whatnot. Because to me, honestly, when I think about it, I'm like, well, what are the reasons? Is there a reason why it's easier to scapegoat Kamala and say, I'm not going to vote for her? Like, I wonder if it wasn't a woman up there running, would would it be a 90 to 78% drop? You know, like,
Misogyny is part of it.
is there something to that idea
I
that makes that easier?
I think it's just this woman, not a woman. I think it's this woman in particular. Like I said, a lot of people know what her record was in California. That's
Well,
not
but do
Well,
they?
that's not.
Do they though?
that's
Because I
distorted,
feel like
brother.
that's like a lot of
You got to
misinformation
do
that's
your
been out
research
there on
on
her
that.
record.
They distorted that record. She did a lot of progressive stuff that have been adopted by other cities all across the country that have
Uh,
benefited black people.
I don't think it's been distorted so much. I think some of it is true. I think some of it is true, and she has made some comments that she's a law and order person. Um,
She is.
and
But why are you mad that she's good at her job though? She's a prosecutor. If you commit a crime,
uh, brother, let's not go there on the fact of how many wrongfully accused black men there are.
uh, yeah, that definitely happens, but it's not every one of them.
It's a large portion that are wrongly accused, and we, the three of us, have encountered situations with officers
Oh,
where
absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about that part.
we
Yes.
we were wrongly accused, and then you get in if you get in the system and you have a hungry prosecutor, it don't matter
hmm
what went down in that search or that um, whatever happened with that police officer. She trying to build her record up. So
Yeah, but she was, but one of her goals was reducing limits of the sentence for people for petty incidents like this that you're talking about.
uh, is that the case for marijuana?
Well,
Well, what she
I mean, you talk about what she's proposing now, or what she did
what she did
as
back then.
Yes.
a DA or as a prosecutor and stuff. Then I mean, you have to go by the laws
It's
that
a
are on
different
the
climate
book
then too.
too. At the time, I don't know. I don't have the numbers right in front of me right now, and we have to go back. But I don't know honestly that what she did that was so out of step with what other people did. You know, and what I did like about her time there is like Carlin was saying, with things that have been adopted, and like the way it was framed, instead of being tough on crime, she was smart on crime,
She was smart on
because it
crime.
was always a way of rebuilding at the
Hmm.
end of it and things and stuff like that, and getting people acclimated back into society, that she did at alarming rates, like that were better than a lot of people in the country. But I just feel like then was such a different time period and stuff too, and what was on the books and what was lawful and not lawful, right? I don't.
And that's why voting's important. Those are lost because of the people that you voted into office, or you didn't vote, and these people are now in office making those laws.
Yeah. I,
It's truck, and I'm just gonna say I can't speak like I don't have like all the statistics and stuff right there.
hmm
It's just I don't know. I feel like that gets like held against her so hard whenever like we don't live in California. I didn't experience. That's why I don't know. I'm not like that familiar, and I think people go off of things that they hear or what they assume and things like that. But I,
Well, see, the thing, that's what I'm saying. When you have, I think I made this comment before about you have the devil that you know, and this is the devil that you don't know. Uh, yes, she's been in a vice president setting currently, but we have not. She's not been very visible in the vice president setting,
which
um,
is normal.
which is normal. Um, so people, she's more like, you know how X is unknown.
But
Um,
what about to Obama's point? But
she,
we know the other one. Like,
Hello,
I
we
don't
know the other one.
I don't know. I
they
don't understand why anybody would want to get back
be
in bed with that.
the other one, but you have some individuals out there that
For me, there is a part of it that's lecturing and going like that finger waving, and I can see how that come across. But the other part is kind of like a reality check, though, too. And I feel like instead of, feel like there was too much defensiveness. I'm just gonna say that.
I
I
wish
feel
Obama.
like people got
Yeah,
like a little bit too defensive over the comments,
well,
in my
I,
opinion.
I think the prez was in a situation where he could have been a little bit more informal at that point. He could
Yeah.
have been like, "Hey,
thank you.
bros,
That's my part.
is it are you guys fearful versus stating that he he deems that it's because it's a woman candidate? Hey, bros, are you guys fearful of a
Hmm.
female candidate, or what would give you apprehension about Kamala Harris? And
Yeah,
and
I agree because
and
I think the people that think. Go ahead.
and then at that point, you know, kind of say, well, these are her strong points. This is what she can do. This is what she has done.
Hmm.
Versus, I'm not going to berate you because and assume, hey, you ain't voting for her because she's a woman. That's just that's just the wrong stance to take, and that's
It's not
just
a smart stance
it's not
to do
it's
that
not smart at all.
with anything. It's
Because
not.
If you're going to build a case for someone, build a case for someone, but don't tear down the person to try to build a case for him.
Because the misogyny's out there, so you're not gonna get that vote no matter what. If they're misogynistic, they're not gonna vote for her. So it's really no need to even bring that part of it up.
And
But
it's usually not. It's usually not on our side of the coin. I'm just going to put that out there.
Right.
there's some
It,
cases.
it,
It's some cases, but
It's not as much as the other side. Definitely not.
we're more lenient because a lot of black men are raised by black women.
Right. Exactly. He should have used his personal experience against Donald Trump. Donald Trump single-handedly brought in birtherism against the president, called him a Muslim, helped build the Tea Party, and all this kind of stuff. Like, if he wanted to really take down and show what this guy is really about, he needs to tell the entire story and say, "Hey, this is why I think we shouldn't go with this guy." And like Carl said, what are you what are you apprehensive about with the vice president?
but you know what
Like,
it is? It's a fear because black men are pulling away. And I don't think the party knows how to deal with that. And
this wasn't it.
they're trying like they don't understand it because I think one thing I agree with you, Carl, what you say, like it's just been, you can only go through so many things over and over and over again
Hmm.
before you just start kind of naturally become apathetic. Like if you pull away, you become I mean, it's not even necessarily running to the other side. Like some people probably just gonna sit out.
They're not going to vote.
It
That's right.
just
Exactly.
Right.
it just go. You just get that when that apathy sits in, you like, well, it don't matter anyway. Like it's gonna be the same old, same old.
Hmm.
How many times we hear that all of our life? And I think it's the first time they're like seeing it number wise and going on. And so I don't know. I think they're just a little bit chaotic right now with not knowing how to handle that situation.
Yeah. I don't think we have a good head on the horse right now that can actually think through an actual campaign and choose the right talking points and actually have the right policies in place and promote them.
Yeah.
You got to be out there saying, look, this is what I'm standing on, and this is a tried and true method. Now, um, I think Vice President Harris has adopted President Clinton's economic policy, some of his policies and whatnot. Um, Start pumping that stuff right there, and let people know. Look, do you remember the times when, hey, the economy was like this? This is
Hmm.
what we're going to do.
I just wish somebody would just be honest one time and
Yeah,
just come out and say, you know what? We have not been there for
We
y'all.
have failed you.
We have failed you. Like, just admit it. Just say
Yes.
that. We have not done what we needed to do.
and
We are
she is in
here.
the perfect position to do that.
The perfect. The perfect. I'm like, if I was advising anybody, that's exactly what I'd be like. Can we just get honest and really talk with people
Be honest.
And
and
he was in
connect?
the perfect position to do that. At that point, he
Yeah.
he could have said, "Look, brothers, I know it hasn't looked good for many years from the
All you
Democratic
gotta
Party,
do.
but we're going to get this thing right.
Yes.
We're going to get this thing right. These are the policies that are in place, and it's going to take an effort from you guys, from me, from all of us, and we got to come together at some point.
Why didn't they have some policies out there to say, hey, exactly? That'd be the perfect time.
Like
So
Carlin said, it is a time now that separatist stuff, you got to throw that out the window.
Yeah.
yes.
If if we are all Americans, then it's time to start coming together.
That is true.
Exactly.
I wanted to get y'all thoughts. What did y'all think about the plan that she unveiled for black men specifically? How did you view that? Like some of the highlights in our opportunity agenda was a proposal for black men, which includes plans to provide 1 million in forgivable loans to black entrepreneurs. And that's 1 million $20,000 loans, forgivable loans to black entrepreneurs and new pathways to help black Americans succeed. Um, there was a plan for legalizing marijuana and stuff. We talked about that. Um, what else was in there? Was a plan surrounding crypto that was in there for crypto investors, and there was stuff around health related things with dealing with stuff like sickle cell and diabetes and things that affect black men disproportionately and stuff than other people. So there were some specifics laid out there. I don't know if you got a chance to kind of look at some of the proposals that were out there. Did it do anything for anybody? Did y'all have any thoughts surrounding what was unleashed?
So, has any of these candidates said anything about trades?
Now there was, I would say, in her plan, the closest thing that would come to that probably would be, it was something that's surrounded. Here it is. This agenda also includes training and mentorship programs to help black men get jobs in high demand industries and
Oh,
greater
she did
investments
that. Yeah.
um, in the public service loan forgiveness program. So that was the other part, but that's dealing with public education, that part. But I don't know what's really behind the training and mentorship programs in high demand.
I think some with technology too. She was saying.
There are a lot of there are a lot of there's a lot of opportunity for trades
Hmm.
out there, uh, and I'm talking about, you know, the kids that graduate high school that may not have the aptitude
Hmm.
or care about going to college or anything like that, uh, and do far better than most people that that do go to college actually when they take
Mhm.
that route. But um, I can say, in the industry that I work in, it is predominantly white male.
Yeah, which that changed a lot.
Pre-
Yeah.
It is predominantly white male without degrees.
And it's the same. Whenever we had a conversation about this on a previous podcast, and one of our friends who lives in Canada, would like made a comment on one of our, and she appreciated the conversation that you were having in it because she works in that, and she was saying it's like the same over there. A lot of things you were saying about here is kind of like how it is there and stuff going now, and it's like we kind of lost that investment somewhere along the lines.
And it used to be that was like the backbone of our
Mm-hmm.
economy, especially when the automakers were huge. When Ford and Chevy and, well, General Motors instead of Chevy, but Ford and General Motors were, pretty much the backbone of our economy. It was trades that was carrying that, and there are people that working uh, work in the industry that I work in and have a trade, and they're making well over 170, 80,000 dollars a year without a
Mm-hmm.
without a college education.
And I saw that we're short. That we're short electricians too in our society. Like all these jobs that we thought
Oh yeah, uh, you
were plentiful are not plentiful anymore.
a machinist, a welder, an electrician. Um, I mean, you could go in the plumbing industry. Uh, most of your construction type industrial jobs. You could go down the line. Hispanic Americans or Hispanics are, you know, they're killing us right now, killing African Americans, and white males are predominantly running that. So if I don't understand why a candidate doesn't, to build our economy up, we need to start going back to those types of things.
Hmm.
We need we need those individuals that are the backbone of our society to start back taking those jobs again. Now, all everybody wants to be is an influencer. You can't. Yeah,
OnlyFans.
I mean, ain't but so many influencers you can have out there.
This is
Exactly.
true.
The prayers he let me down.
Drop the ball on that one.
He let me down.
Oh,
Yeah.
Obama, Obama, Obama. All right. Well, we're gonna leave that one there, y'all. Good discussion. Let's go to some football, y'all. You ready?
Let's get it.
The Jets and the Bills played last night. I mean,
Boo.
that game, the amount of penalties
Well,
that made
let's
that game
start with the
unwatchable.
kicking game. Somebody needs to be fired.
I think we had this conversation last week that we're sick of the penalties. We're
Penalty,
sick of the referees.
but this kicking game last night was
But the
all.
win was crazy,
I
though.
can't blame them.
The
The
win
win
was
was
crazy. I'm not
ridiculous.
gonna go too hard, but grade the leg is not that anymore.
We've been
Great,
saying this from the
Hold
beginning of the
on.
season. He needs to go.
Let's not yeah.
because Bass is usually better. I feel like than that. That was but the kicking game was.
But I agree. Penalties, atrocious.
But the Bills pulled out the 23-20 win. It was the Jets' first game since the firing of Robert Saleh. I feel like if he was coaching last night, they would have won that game. That's just my opinion. Since they demoted the offensive coordinator anyway. From that was
Mm.
the big problem. But the big news was after the game where we kind of want to have our focus. Start off with the Devontae Adams trade where Adams was he's off to the Big Apple now. Going to be reunited with Aaron Rodgers. He was traded there just this Tuesday. So that happened where it was confirmed Tuesday now. And as for the compensation, the Raiders will receive a conditional third round pick that can become a second round pick based on performance. So the pick becomes a second if either of the following happens: Adams makes first or second team All Pro, or he's on the active roster for the AFC Championship or Super Bowl with the Jets. And Vegas is not paying any of Adams' remaining salary, so Jets are now assuming that balance of that salary, and they're going to pick up. I think it's 11.59 million left on the deal, according to this article. And Adams has a base salary of 16.69 million and 330,000 in roster bonuses. So New York will assume roughly 66% of that remaining money. Um, and not to be outdone by the Devontae trade, and just throw this one in there, Amari Cooper was also traded to the Buffalo Bills. So it's interesting that both of these teams made moves last night or today after that game. And the Bills got Amari Cooper. In this trade, they received Cooper in a 2025 sixth round draft pick, while Cleveland gets a 2025 third round pick and a 2026 seventh rounder in return. Yeah, what do we think about these trades here? First, let's go there with the Jets with that one, with Devontae coming to New York. Do y'all think this is like something that can really change their season? Or is this season already kind of like a wash for the Jets right now?
I I don't I don't think it moved the barometer. All it was just bro love going on there. Of course, they they love each other. But if I was
They
Devontae,
do.
I would have tried to go to a contender instead of a pretender, and the Jets are definitely pretenders in my book. I like the Amari Cooper trade better than the Devontae Adams trade. To me, I think Cooper fits with Buffalo a little bit better, and I just like that trade better than this Devontae Adams deal.
Yeah. I think that Cooper trade, that's one that could really put I mean, that could make some headwaves, depending on the type of player that Cooper decides to be.
Yeah, if
I
he
And
know.
if
how
No
like
doubt.
if he's the Cowboy Cooper, he'll be nice.
yeah. Yeah,
Well,
but
he has a quarterback down, so I think he'll
right.
play a lot better.
He was definitely not in good spirits in
He's
Cleveland.
ready to go. I think the Jets actually have a little window of hope because the next few games are very winnable. Um, Maybe not Pittsburgh. They probably lose against Pittsburgh, but after that, they got a couple of people they can beat up on. I think they play the Patriots and somebody else. Um, I'm interested to see if he and Roger still have that chemistry. We'll see. It's a glimmer of hope. It's not completely dead, but it's fading.
to
And
Oh, go ahead.
I'm with you all with Cooper. I still think the Bills are too slow though. He doesn't help in the speed department.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And to your point, the Jets' remaining schedule is
It's
pretty
second too.
favorable for
Yeah.
them. They don't have a lot of tough games and stuff on this back half. So I don't see them, especially with an interim coach. They're not gonna. It's They ain't gonna win no Super Bowl or
No.
go
The Jets,
anything out like that.
so it don't really matter that the schedule isn't tough. The Jets aren't tough.
That's true.
That's
That's true.
true.
That's true. And they still got Aaron Rodgers that would throw you under the bus somewhere the way he was
I,
throwing Mike Williams under the
Oh
bus.
my God.
I, I,
Horrible.
I wish the Jets lose every game for the rest of the year.
Quite honestly, yes.
Who do you blame that loss on? Are you going to kicking game, Carl?
No, I'm going Aaron Rodgers
You gonna give that to A Rod?
all the
This
way.
third chance, they brought him in
But
to win the game.
bad interception,
Nothing
You
about the receiver
play
running the
to
wrong
win the
route.
game. He doesn't win the game.
bad interception.
I agree. I agree. I can't help but agree. Yeah. Yeah. This trade, I feel like the Devontae trade at least will. They got the skill players. They have the skill. They have the talent. It's just,
Aaron is 45.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
it
It's
really is.
He's the problem.
All right. The Cowboys got, I don't even know if
Demolished.
demolish is the word. They 47-9, just embarrassed on their home field. They're now at a 3-3 start. And Jerry Jones goes on his weekly radio show.
Say that again.
Jerry Jones goes on his weekly radio show.
It's what?
Weekly radio show.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna play for you what transpired. And we'll have a discussion about the Cowboys afterwards.
Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my
It's
job is to
So y'all
ask
get a
why.
job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the
No,
team is.
no, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out it's what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
Jerry.
Okay. Y'all really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all of the things that I've done wrong and without going over the rights?
So somebody was a little upset
Hmm.
from getting questioned about, just doing their job about what's going on. What's
No,
going
your
on?
job is to kiss his butthole.
He
And
just told him, "I'll get somebody else in here."
I sure
he
did.
threatened the man's job. This is a new low for Jerry, I feel like. The Cowboys are at an all-time low, and Jerry Jones just brought them down even lower. It was pretty sick then.
Well, the man is getting old and delusional. He is. The game has passed him by. He needs to hand this thing over. And he got the birthday gift that he deserved on Sunday.
That's right, I forgot it was his birthday. That made it even worse.
He got the birthday gift that he deserved. Um, this team is awful. Um, there's no the defense is horrendous. Um, Diggs, help him. Somebody, somebody, somebody help him. Somebody get some water because he is on fire right now from the way he got toasted all game long. He and all he was doing was just shaking his head after each play, like, "What, son? It's on you. You the one getting beat. Um, I mean, it's all on you." And Mr. Prescott,
This is your favorite. I love it. I look forward to these chats. I look forward to it every Sunday when the Cowboys are playing.
Mr. Prescott, $60 million man.
Yeah.
Let me get those stats for you again that you
Just
sent
put the
to us.
stats up there for me.
How much did he make this game? This one game?
17 to 33, 178 yards, 2 interceptions.
How much is he getting paid per completion?
Entirely too much, Carlin. That's how much he's getting. Entirely too much. This guy is, I knew he didn't have it in him. I don't know why they paid this man this kind of money.
Why can't everybody see the roster but Jerry? Like I don't understand.
It's a moms and pops organization.
So if one one pickup, if they would have picked up Derrick Henry, who wanted to come to Dallas,
Hello.
if they'd have picked up Derrick Henry, this season looks entirely different. Because one, Dak doesn't have to make all the mistakes that he makes right now. You just hand the ball off
You will hide that.
and play action off of Derrick Henry. And you have enough weapons um, for receivers with Derrick Henry in the backfield. CD would have his a buck 25 or so every game, and Derrick Henry a buck 25 to a buck 50 every game. And at this point, we'd probably be, 4-2, maybe 5-1. And with a good run game, it saves your defense. It keeps your defense off the field as much.
It was just bad. That was just 47 to 9 at home. How many
Well,
of y'all lost at home now in a row?
let's not e-
Four,
let's not even talk about that. But that was,
four
I
straight.
think, that was the worst defeat in history.
Yeah, that's what they said. I definitely heard them say that.
But
You did.
I told you guys prior to this game, I said, "Hey, the Lions got cheated last year. They gonna mollywop us this game."
You did.
I forgot what happened. That was like, oh yeah.
And what the way they were toying with them, trying to get a line.
They played with them all game.
It was embarrassing.
Your manhood got to just you. oh, you just got to feel like nothing right now.
Uh, the saddest thing though was Aiden going down.
Oh,
Yes.
disgusting.
I
So sad.
hated to see that.
Yes. Yeah, let's talk about that. Aiden Hutchinson had a serious injury. Um, leading, and I believe he was leading the NFL in sacks, or I know
He
at least he was
was.
leading his team. Yeah, 6.5
He,
sacks.
he was
More.
leading.
Yep. And they had more sacks than everybody, all the defensive players combined on the Lions. He's
Yeah,
an animal, but that leg injury, I'm glad, Carlin, you saw it on Twitter. I didn't go back and look at the slowed down version. Once you described it to me, I just said, no, thank you. I am not
Save your eyeballs. It was disgusting.
I am not gonna go back and look at that. Um, but how does this impact the Lions, y'all? Because I mean, the Lions are no doubt a top NFL team. Um, should they
I
go
say
out and
go
get
out and
somebody
get
like a Max Crosby?
go get Max Crosby.
yep.
Do it. Do it today.
And they need to go get him because this is a window for them. I think they have a chance. They could sneak out of the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
The NFC's wide open. So yeah,
I could definitely see that.
make a move.
Let's move on to a story that Carlin you wanted to talk about today with Nick Sirianni. So the Eagles pulled out an ugly 20-16 win over Cleveland. But Sirianni was seen on camera yelling and gesturing towards fans in the section behind the team's sideline. And at one point, he put his finger up to his ear, seeming to suggest he had silenced their chirping with the victory. Boos were raining down for parts of the game. There were chants of "Fire Nick" going on. And he had some stuff to say about it after the game, where he was saying that we thrive off the crowd when they cheer for us. That's all I say. When they boo, we don't necessarily like it. I don't think that's productive for anybody. But when they cheer for us and when we've got them rolling, we love it. And today he had some apologies where he apologized for his interaction with a group of fans on Sunday, where he said, I was trying to bring energy and enthusiasm yesterday, and I'm sorry and disappointed at how my energy was directed at the end of the game. And he said this during a video conference.
He's a jerk face.
He,
How did he get this position to be a head coach? He's such an imbecile. He's non-serious. You're gonna you're gonna heckle your friend, your freaking fans because you beat the Browns 20-16. Whoop de do. 20-16. Even the freaking Cowboys blew them out by at least what 15, 20 points.
This was coming
Uh,
off of a bye.
coming off a bye, and then on top of that, the jerk has the nerves to bring his kids in to the press conference as a buffer. Use his kids because he wasn't man enough to stand up and face the press face to face because he know he was being a jerk.
all
Oh,
I say
get
it's
him out of here. Fire him today.
Eagles. I can't stand the Eagles. It's the Eagles.
It's something's up with Philly. Philly is an interesting
That's
place.
the most Philly thing ever.
It
You
is.
know,
But isn't this a breakup just waiting to happen? Like we
oh, he's
see
done.
it, but even on the bye, how Jalen Hurts had to be like, oh, like we were bonding or whatever. We had like great moments, however he said it. Then this is
Boo.
happening. The Eagles just do not look right all season long. It's
Look at the head coach.
Jalen
He's a freaking loser.
Jalen Hurts need to practice some ball security. Go somewhere and do
hello?
that.
Okay.
Bond with that pigskin, son. That's what you need to bond with.
Well, he got AJ Brown back now, so all is right with him. He's nothing without AJ Brown.
True.
This
AJ
is
Brown,
true.
though,
This is true. AJ
animal.
Brown, he changes a lot.
He's an
Yeah.
animal.
I just don't see this long term. And I think we say it all the time, brother, when we watch it. Like every time I just see his face on the screen, I'm like, I don't trust this guy.
No, he's crazy. You see, he cut off his hair off. It looks like a psycho.
Yeah.
Like what happened over your bye week?
Think about all the weapons they have though, and they look that bad against
And
Cleveland.
they can't score.
Yeah.
They do not know how to get the ball to Devontae. Why I do not understand.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Coming into the season this is not the Eagles team that we thought we would see.
Where was Saquon Barkley?
Well, that was the thing I was about to say. You got a guy that at the beginning of the year we were saying, "Hey, this guy he's playing at an MVP level."
Okay, what happened? Well, you know what? Somebody told Nick Sirianni to hold my beer because I got something for you.
Oh God,
And
this asshole! What an asshole!
Carl, you actually sent this to us, and our chat first to bring the attention of what happened with Mr. Kirby Smart. I couldn't believe my eyes whenever we saw this. But if you watch the Georgia game on Saturday, Georgia against Mississippi State, um,
Excuse me.
Kirby Smart was seen on the sideline pushing the Mississippi State quarterback Van Buren, like very aggressively on the sideline in the fourth quarter at the end of a 6-yard run with 2:55 left to go in the game. Let's just listen to what he had to say about the incident.
After you guys said that in the press conference, I went back and watched it, and didn't even realize that I had run into him. But I reached out to Levy that night and talked to him, and he said the kid was great. And then yesterday I talked to Mike and told him, I had no intentions or ill will towards him at all. It was, if you've ever been on the sideline in a game, it's pandemonium. It's really pandemonium when you're trying to change personnel and you only got 3 to 4 seconds to do it. And we were bad off in a bad personnel grouping against empty that we actually had messed up the week before. And so I was trying to get to Schumann to get that changed. But I reached out to the kid. He was great. He's a really good player. He's going to be a good player in this league. And he played better as the game went on against us.
All right. Kirby Smart said he didn't see it. He didn't notice that's what happened. Now there was no penalty or he wasn't penalized for it, but on Monday, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey said that the play should have resulted in a 15-yard penalty against the Bulldogs. Are y'all buying it?
Accidental? How do you accidentally push somebody? that man knew what he was doing. he can tell what all kind of lies he want to tell to try to get out of it. But you know, uh, the individuals like himself and Nick Saban and those guys that reach that pantheon of
Mm-hmm.
success in college football, they get too many passes, man, and
Way too many.
they treat them like gods. They um somebody needed to bring him back down to earth.
Mm-hmm. How do you not? How does nothing even happen? Like the video is very clear. I mean, are you not watching the game in the field? Because the dude literally he runs. The quarterback is running and runs out of bounds and it's on y'all sideline. He comes from out of the screen, running in and just knocks the guy. I'm surprised Van Buren just kept his senses in that moment.
He better be glad that he picked the right person to push. Because
Well,
if it was the wrong person, Kirby would be probably still asleep right now.
he's lucky it wasn't one of my kids.
That's what I'm gonna say. Or the parent, I'm coming out the
Okay,
stands.
especially after seeing that, if you didn't like see it, once you see it though,
He
in that
wouldn't.
playback, would have been down at that school.
He wouldn't be coaching right now.
And the excuse he gave was like, "Oh yeah, like I was trying to get my defensive coordinator." So you're gonna treat another grown man like this?
Well, yeah, okay, Carlin, thank you for that. Because I'm like, does that make it any better? Like, were you planning to attack
A grown man on the
another grown
sideline.
man?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen instances like that on the sidelines that don't end too well with some people. So I
Well, that's what I'm saying. That uh, these guys, man, they think they get that God complex, and
hmm
somebody show them that they mortal.
He pushed that man so hard. I was like, oh my god, I would have threw that football at that man or something. We've been fighting that day.
I'd have broke.
Fight team.
I'd have broke him. I got
definitely.
on too. I'd have broke him.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Well, let's end on this. Um, this is interesting to me. Mm, the Steelers. They're sitting at 4-2. 4-2, right, brothers? I think they're 4-2.
They're
Yeah,
four and two.
But right now, Mike Tomlin, he says that he is considering starting Russell Wilson in the next game on Sunday. Um, he says right here, Tomlin said he would make his choice between Wilson and Justin Fields as the starting quarterback closer to game time. I got comfortable with his ability to display his health last week. Tomlin said of Wilson, now it's about knocking the rust off. He is in consideration this week. We'll see where that leads us, man. Both guys at the quarterback position are scheduled to work Wednesday, and we'll just walk it day by day, all geared toward putting ourselves in the best position to win the football game. Tomlin didn't rule out the possibility of using both quarterbacks in the game Sunday night. Certainly, there's a scenario. It could have been a scenario where that could have occurred last week.
Oh, please don't do that.
Is this a disservice not to name a starting quarterback kind of at this point? Or do y'all think this is fair? Like, just because of the trajectory and how Wilson came in, he was supposed to be QB1, then having the injury, not getting a chance to be on the field. I don't know. Do you think Justin's play has solidified a starting position at this point?
man's 4-2. You winning back. You winning ball games. I know he's wanting to pay homage to Russell Wilson, but I'm sorry, the game has surpassed Russell at this point. To me, it'd be a travesty to go back with him, and you go out there. They already have some things clicking now. Justin is getting more confident, more comfortable with the offense. I think the guys are starting to rally a little bit more around him. Um, I think you'll ruin Justin when he's got a higher ceiling versus uh, a guy like Russell Wilson that on the downward slope.
Now he has continued to list Wilson as QB1 on the depth chart during the duration of the injury that's been going on. And right now, just to give some numbers, yeah, the Steelers are 4-2 with Fields as the starting quarterback. But Fields, he has 5 rushing touchdowns to just 1 interception and 1 fumble, and he has completed a career high 66.3% of his pass attempts. But his QBR through 6 games is 54, ranking 20th among all quarterbacks, and the Steelers rank 28th in passing yards per game and 20th in points per game.
What has his last 3 games been though?
They've
I,
certainly been a lot better.
I think he started the season kind of he started the season poorly.
hmm
He wasn't in sync at the beginning of the season, but I think over the past 3 games he's done a really good job in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now I know Coach T has seen the offensive line. Russell Wilson will not make it out of the second quarter if he gets into that game. Justin Fields is making unbelievable plays just to avert losing yardage on plays, and he's
Yeah.
turned them into positive plays and
Yes.
running for huge chunks of yards and
This is true.
touchdowns.
I mean,
I-
I agree, brother. You said it.
and what he's lacking in terms of passing yards, he's making up in the running game. So
Yes, sir.
And they just got Warren back now
he's got
too, which
Warren
is going to
back.
make a difference.
Yes,
Najee actually got over 100 yards last game. Like pieces are coming. That's going to help the passing game once the running game really gets going too.
exactly. And I mean, you have to have some wideouts too. Like they're not very talented on
That
outside.
part. Can we talk about that? Because it's not like they have a wealth of receivers out there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and Pickens is so sometimey. Like he had an interview today. He was on one of those shows. Was it the Falcon or whatever? He talks a good game, but I see his actions on the field. He doesn't give 110% all the time.
He's a thug.
Yes, he's one of them Georgia players.
Hmm.
Kirby. Yeah, so we'll see. I agree with y'all. Y'all convinced me, or I've been convinced. I wasn't a Justin believer like that, like of being QB1. I was used to be like, give Russell his chance. Now at this point, that would be so weird to yank him going into Sunday night and to have Russell as the starting QB.
The only reason I can see it is Russell is eating it up in practice, like throwing the ball down the field. Something that's not happening on the field right now. That's the only way I can see it.
I don't see it.
Or if it's been something that they've talked about within the organization
Right.
and
When he
Russ
signed with the team. Right.
told Justin, "Hey, look, know that Russell Wilson is QB1 for us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
though you're doing well and you've steadied the ship, and we appreciate what you've done. When he's ready, he's coming back."
That's why I think it's interesting that he's continued to list him as QB1 through
Yeah,
all this time. So
And it's also it depends on what kind of incentives he has in that contract. You know, these NFL teams will try to do
that's
anything
true.
to not to pay those incentives.
yeah,
That's a good point. Yeah, so yes, that is a point right there. We'll see what happens, brothers. Well, basketball next week. We're back.
yeah,
NBA starting
Ball.
up.
yes.
Yes.
It's a
College gonna
ball
be
night.
starting up soon. We're gonna have to talk some B-ball and get some stuff centered around that, fellas.
Sounds great.
All right.
I know you saw DiVincenzo, Carl Parker.
Oh, DiVincenzo gave Mr. Brunson the business.
He sure did.
He's
Give
about
it
to give
to
that whole sideline to business.
him. He gave
Thibodeau and everybody else.
actually. You heard what he said to Tibbs, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Oh, Tibbs, I can't finish, huh?" He said, "Thanks for the trade, Tibbs."
He sure did.
This has been a Rosie B production. You can follow the Parker's Couch on YouTube and TikTok. You can follow Cameron on Instagram at cdparker03, Carlin at Carlin1978, that's CARLON, and Carl at ParkC73.